Hello and welcome to What If Deku Had a Transformation Quirk Part 3, where we last left off. Izumi just got accepted into UA, and we're gonna cut straight to the next day of 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 UA. The next day for Izumi, she goes up to the big 1A doors. She kind of figures it's a little weird to have such a big door, but then it kind of dawns on her. She's like, "Oh right, we had the school had Mount Lady before." So she's like, "I'm just gonna walk in," and we cut to her opening the door to a familiar scene where you have Bakugo and Ida screaming at Bakugo to put his feet off the desk. He's like, "You are disgracing the name of UA students who were here before you." Bakugo is having a discussion, yelling back. He's like, "Whatever, extras. I don't really care." The normal Bakugo thing. So Zumi just sits in the back, like, I, I, it's too early for this. So she goes and sits in the back, and nothing other than that. Yes, I apologize for humming all the time. It's late at night when I record these. Anyway, I will try to stop doing that. So that's when Uraraka comes in, and she says she's looking around, and she's give me a sec. I'm sorry about this. Sorry about that little cut. I don't know if I. Sorry for cutting and pausing there. So we cut back to Uraraka looking around the classroom, and she is looking for she's looking for Deku, but she doesn't know who she is. So she's basically looking for Yang, the person who saved her during the testing. She gets a little, Uraraka gets a little sad that um, Izumi are Ruka gets sad because she doesn't see Yang in the classroom, and she just sits down, not really paying attention to anything else. And that's when Aizawa walks in, because Uraraka doesn't really introduce herself to Izumi because she doesn't know what she looks like. She only knows that Yang saved her, but apparently she didn't make it into UA. So she's a little sad by that. Also, before Aizawa walks in, Momo says, "Oh, Izumi, it's good to see you in the class 1A. I see your training really paid off." Izumi shyly rubs her head and says, "Yeah, it worked." Um, she's like, I hope this year, I hope we have a good year and we learn a lot." And that's when Azara walks in, and everyone's confused. It's like, who is this dirty old man? walking in, hopping in. He his quirk. Is he a caterpillar quirk? And then as Azawa unzips the um oh, what is it called? The sleeping bag. Unzips the sleeping bag. It's like, okay, students, I want you to get dressed into your PE uniforms and meet me into the training fields. And Uraka picks up. He's like, "Aren't we gonna do orientation?" Aizawa picks up. "This is my class. You're in UA now. You're do things a little differently. If you don't like it, you can just leave." So we're just going to cut to nothing too interesting happens. We're just going to cut straight to the training, the training ground, and first one up, out of the locker room is Izumi, and then next is Momo, and everyone rushes over and waits for instructions. And for this one, for this meeting, Bakugo is being this quiet, kind of not being explosive right now. So something's like Izumi could tell something's off a little bit, but she doesn't pay no mind. So Azawa tosses the ball to Izumi. He's like, "You, what was the farthest you throw?" She gives a number, and he's like, "Okay, what's the farthest you could throw? You're gonna throw this ball as far as you can using your quirk." And Izumi's like, yes, sir. Okay." And it's like, she sighs. It's like, "Well, the strongest person I have right now is Yang. Kind of wish this uniform's gonna be a little tight when she transforms." But she's like, she's like, "I can't worry about that right now." And so she takes the ball and she transforms into Yang. And Uraraka sees this, like, it finally clicks with Uraraka. And she's like, "Oh, she must have a transformation quirk. That makes a lot more sense." She just yells, "Good luck," to Izumi. Yang gives her a thumbs up, winds up the ball, and tosses it when she tosses the ball, her eyes lit up in flames, and she tosses it, and the ball catches on fire a little bit. And it's always like, "Good job, you hit 700 feet." And same thing happens. Like, Kirishima gets hyped. He's like, "All right, we get to use our quirks. This is gonna be fun." And Aizawa's like, does his speech. He's like, "Oh, fun. All right, how about this? Whoever gets last is gonna get expelled from the group." And because of that, everyone gets fired up and motivated not to get kicked out. And also, the rankings is gonna be a little bit different than before. So because Momo has the new abilities and stuff like that. So her placement's gonna be a little different. So when it gets up to the race, Izumi decides to stay as Yang because she doesn't want to waste her stamina switching to someone who's faster at this time. She's going to need someone else for. She's going to stay with as Yang because she could do most of the obstacles for strength, and most of this is for strength and less for agility. So she did, but because of that, she does, like I said, worse for the agility stuff. So her placement is gonna be a lot different. So she does the running. She gets paired up with Momo and the 100-meter dash, and Yang barely wins that race because Momo doesn't have she has full counting, but she's not used to the ability yet. So we go through the day to do all the events, and I was always like, okay, students, this is the results. And you have basically the top four is Bakugo, Momo, Izumi, Todoroki, and then it goes down for that more and more. And the person who's in last place is Mineta. And he is devastated. It's like, no, but I worked so hard to get here. And Aizawa says, no, it was just a ruse to get you guys more motivated to see how well you do. I'm not expelling anyone. And Momo's like, I kind of figured it out. And does her speech. She's like, yeah, it's kind of logical that he was lying. Everyone kind of deadpans and all this sort of stuff. And so I was always like, I'm going to call it for the day. You guys can go home early. I'll see you tomorrow. And he just walks away. So we're just going to cut to Izumi back into her normal state, walking home. And then we have Ida, Momo, Uraraka walk up to her, and Uraraka's like, so I want two things. I want to thank you for saving my life during the exams to get in. And Elizabeth's like, oh, no problem. That's what a hero does. And Uraraka's like, yeah, I would have thanked you at the beginning, but I didn't recognize you at the beginning of class, so I'm sorry about that. He's like, yeah, I get that. And Ida is like, yes, I kind of figured out what happened as I saw you transform. And I would also like to apologize for some of the things I said during the exam. Zumi's like, oh, it's no problem. And then Momo's staying quiet. She didn't want to butt into that conversation right now. But yeah, goes normal. They introduce themselves. Momo introduces herself to the group, and they were going. Momo asked if Izumi wants to bring her, and she brings the invitation to everyone in the group. She's like, well, sorry, I'm trying to think of what she would say. She's like, would you guys like to come over sometime to study? Because this is going to be a long semester, and I don't want anyone to fall behind. And so Izumi says like, oh, I'll take you up on that. So does Uraraka and Ida. Says like, yeah, we could form our own study group. And they leave for the day. And it's only 16 minutes. I'm gonna go on a little bit since I haven't posted such a long time. So the next day happens, and everyone's kind of sweating because like they're like it's the next day, and like they see on the schedule like, oh, we're gonna do combat training. Who's gonna be our teacher for that? And you have the classic scene where he's like, here I am coming in the door like a normal person, and they're like, All Might's gonna be our teacher. This is gonna be such a cool year. Everyone's cheering at the same time, and it's like, all right, heroes. Yes, I am gonna be your combat teacher, and meet me at team at not team. Why am I blanking so much today? Yeah, I'm sorry. At Battlefield Gamma, and All Might's like, oh, before you all go, you all did a assignment beforehand to put in your costume ideas to the support team, and as heroes, it's important to save lives, but it's also important to also look good. And he pushes a button on the remote that he has, and it's everyone's heroes costumes, and he's like, I want you guys get in your hero costumes and meet me, like I said, at Battlefield Gamma. So as they get ready, everyone's in their normal costume, except for Izumi. Izumi's is a little different. Her normal hero costume is just a basic suit, kind of. This is basically how do I explain it? Just her school uniform. And Uraraka's all confused, like, didn't you send in a request for your costume? And Izumi's like, yeah, I did, but it's gonna take longer for them to make. For my quirk. My quirk's obviously a lot different than everyone else, so I could deal with this for now. And Izumi's like, oh, I like your costume, Uraraka. And Uraraka's like, yeah, it's a lot more skin tight than I wanted it to be. And Izumi's like, yeah. It's kind of a downside. I hope my costume isn't like that. So while they walk up to All Might, All Might does a speech explaining the rules, like the basic thing, and he's like, first fight is going to be Bakugo and Ida and Uzumi and Uraraka. And that's what I'm going to leave it off for now. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a good day. Everyone stay safe, all the good stuff. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. And good luck and peace.